Just want to make sure everybody can see my screen clearly. Okay, great. Okay, so welcome everybody for today's training. This is on the setup for the offline point of sale. Okay, so the offline point of sale, it isn't really a complex process, as long as you have your SQL set up and that you just have connection details to your database. Okay. To start off with is that we're going to make sure that we have a blank SQL server. So come here, I've already created a SQL instance. So you'll first need to install an instance that is completely blank. You can see that I've called mine an SQL for offline point of sale. Okay. After you have these connection details, you can then log into your company. And we'll log in via admin. And we can move on to the point of sale. Okay, so be advised that with the point of sale system, there is a few changes that are made. So administrators obviously have access to basically Palladium itself at all times, but the point of sale system will only show users that have been added to a drawer. So in this case, we'll be creating an offline point of sale, and this will be our POS system number 1. If we assign one of our employees or our cashiers to this system, then they will be able to see their username in front when they log in. But any other user will not be able to have access to the system. They have to be either assigned or administrator to have access to the system. Okay, and again, the point of sale, when it becomes offline, it is logged in differently. It becomes set to an offline point of sale. So some of the features that is in the normal Palladium is not the same as in the offline point of sale. Okay, but let's just carry on. So you'll see that you have an option here offline, and it's the terminal setup. We'll double click on setup. We'll then add in our terminal code. So this is just I'm just going to call this system 1. And our description is POS system number 1. Yeah, now you can see that you have your offline SQL setup. So this is our SQL settings that we added up to our local server. I'll just get these details. So it'll be our local server name, then our username and password used. You can then have your next number document numbers. So this is just if you'd like to change and where the offline point of sale is starting. You also have a restore using backup option. This means that if you have an offline point of sale and you want to move that same offline point of sale from one side to another to a different device, you can do so here. We'll then test the connection. We'll see that the connection is established, and we'll click on OK. Okay, so from here, if I click on OK, it's now going to set up and create my offline database, and it will show me different user rights and access rights. Okay, so we'll click on OK, and we'll just give it some time. Okay, from here, it's basically syncing all the data, so necessary table fields and inventory items, just to ensure that when the system does go offline, that it can still process. Okay, and just be advised that the offline point of sale is usually used when the system goes offline. So this means that if you have no network and you'd like to log into Palladium with an offline point of sale system, you still will not be able to log in. You do need an internet verification first. So you have to have internet before before you can actually go into Palladium, and then it gets turned into offline point of sale. Okay, looks like our setup is successful. Okay, now you'll see that Palladium does close. We'll then open it up again. And you can see it won't ask us to choose a company. It's now going to log in and we'll just display the users. You'll see that shortly. Okay, now as seen, you have your administrators. So these are all the administrators, and we don't have any of the other users. Reason for that is because none of those users have been assigned to this particular drawer. Okay, so we'll log in via an admin again. And this is our point of sale system. Okay, so administrators will have access to everything. It will open up the same as usual. We'll just see that on the point of sale, the icon layout is set up a bit differently now. You'll see under the offline, there is an automatic sync button. So if you double click, this is to unsync or sync any documents that haven't been processed yet. You also have your reinstall stored procedures. This is for the local database. So you can run these stored procedures on your offline database in case there's any hiccups here and there. Apologies, we'll just let this run quickly. Okay, great. So then that would be the reinstalled procedures. Then we have our error log. Again, if there's any errors that's been processed. Then we have our point of sale display system. So this is in case they're using this is for settings on the point of sale which match your ones that is already online. Then you have your bulk label printing. Okay. Then you have your cash draws. You can see that there is no draws assigned currently. So the reason for this is because whenever you assign a draw, it has to be to that offline point of sale. So I'm going to quickly just go to another device here. Let me put that in front of you. And I'll log into the company on this side. So on this device, there is no point of sale. So there's no offline point of sale. Okay, so in this case, I'll be logging in as an admin on this device, and I'll be assigning one of my users to this offline point of sale. You'll see when I open up Palladium and I go down to the point of sale system, I go to cash draws, and you'll see my list of draws here. When I create a new draw, I then choose the name and I'll say offline. Offline 1. And this will just be set for cash. This is set for all accounts. Then we'll quickly add in our expense accounts or receipts accounts. I'll just be adding in here. Okay, we won't be using any profit centers, departments, and obviously we need a default customer. That'll be our cash customer. And then you'll see at the bottom offline terminal. So if I drop down, it shows system 1. So this would be our system 1 offline point of sale that was created. We'll click on system 1, we'll click on OK, and you'll see it's now created. We'll then double click, sorry, not double click. We'll then close this, and we'll move on to our offline point of sale. Then we'll just refresh this. We'll open and close this again. So you can see in the beginning, as soon as you reopen, it synchronizes the data in case there was any updates. And we'll open it up, go to our point of sale, our cash draws, and you can see our offline 1 draw has been added here. So only the draws that have been assigned to this offline point of sale can be used. We'll double click on this offline. Sorry, apologies. You're unable to also assign. Sorry, you are able to assign. Apologies on that. This is set up, was a bit different setup beforehand. Okay, so then you'll click on your offline point of sale. You'll assign the user. Just be the admin. Cash float. Yeah. Apologies. That might be my connection. It's not a problem. We'll just go to the administrator and we'll assign the user here. Okay. So now our user is assigned as normal. Our offline point of sale synchronizes. We'll then log in. Offline point of sale, cash draws. You can see that I've been assigned as the user. I'll close this and I'll log into the point of sale. Now you can see that there's a new button that appears or a new little icon on the top left-hand side. This is your online or offline offline system. So if you do go offline, this will go red and will say offline, which means that as soon as you go back online, it will then synchronize the data. Unfortunately, I can't necessarily show you when it goes offline as we will be kicked out. Everybody will be kicked out of the session. Okay, but in any case, this is the way it would work. From here on out, it's exactly the same as a normal point of sale system. The only difference is that as soon as you lose internet connectivity, you're still able to process and it will resynchronize when you're finished. Or as soon as you come back online. Okay. Now, again, your system is set to offline point of sale, which means that as soon as we close Palladium and we try and open it up again, here, that it won't ask you to choose any of the companies. So as soon as you set it up for offline point of sale, it's going to be dedicated to the one company that you chose. So your one system, unfortunately, does not won't access multiple offline companies. It's set for one company strictly. Okay, but now to stop this, we're going to just remove some files. So under this option here, there is certain files that Palladium as just for the offline point of sale. Okay. Now you can see when I log back into Palladium, it will then remove the terminal settings and I'm able to go back to normal. This is in case where there's any testing purposes or if you'd like to go in and out of your offline point of sale system. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. That's basically the setup for the offline point of sale. After everything is set up, it runs exactly as the normal point of sale would. So as long as you have your SQL database or your local SQL installed, you can then have an offline database locally hosted. So if there's any questions, feel free to unmute, or if you'd like, you can type into chat and I'll answer to the best. Okay. I don't see any questions coming through. Again, you're more than welcome to unmute. Okay. It's not a problem then. If there's no questions, that means it's everybody understands
Hello?
in that case. Oh,
Hello.
hello.
Afternoon.
Okay. Tanisha, how can I help?
Okay, I wanted to find out if point of sale does support multi-currency.
As you do you mean by foreign currencies?
Yeah, if it does support different currencies, multiple currencies on the same platform.
Yes, that's correct. As long as the customer is set to a foreign currency, then the offline or the point of sale will support it as well.
Okay.
Okay, then Isia, I heard that saw your mic on mute. Is there a question that you'd like to ask?
I wanted to ask you the same question.
Oh, for foreign currencies.
Oftentimes we get requests for mod currency because at one point we've a client which then when they are selling their items, at one point they would receive maybe Zimbabwean dollar, and the next customer is using United States dollars, so they would want to receipt all the monies on the same platform. So
Yeah, I understand. In this case, yeah, as long as your customer is set to the proper foreign currency, then you'll be able to do so.
okay, so on the setup, they're all linked to the same accounts.
Yes, when it comes to the customer, if the customer walks in and their account is set to Zimbabwean dollar or to the United States dollar, then the foreign amounts will still work the same.
Okay, no, that's great.
Okay,
thank you.
no problem.
Hi, JP.
Hi, yes, Monet?
Hi, can you hear me? Sorry, I just had a problem with my mic the whole time.
No problem.
The new features, the auto sync, the reinstall, store procedures. That's currently on the latest version, right?
Yeah, this should be on the latest 22 version.
22.
Yes.
Okay. Your PC is showing 21. So
So my PC showing 21.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, not as in 22, as in the version 21. I meant as in
Yeah.
2022. This version is 21 at the moment.
Yeah, your PC is showing 21. So
Yeah.
okay. So that feature is including that particular version.
Yes.
Okay. That's the first question. Second question is the PC that you have set up in Oracle, right? Is that the server PC that holds the offline database?
No. That's just another device that's used to log into that same database. That database is hosted on our local server. So our company, whether the company is set on your local server or if it's on our side, it will still have connection to it. So during the setup, it's still connecting to the same database. So you can see here, we're connected to our 226.
Yeah.
Even if we're connected to, let's say, our 242, it would work exactly the same way. We'd be able to create an offline point of sale as long as we're connected to a specific database.
The third question is, besides PCs, like point of sale screens, Palladium can work fine with it, like touchscreen based hardware products.
Yeah, it becomes exactly the same as point of sale with the touchscreen and everything.
Okay. Understand. Thanks.
No problem.
Hi, sorry, I've got a question. How do you allocate the funds to specific accounts? Meaning, I don't want my points of sales account to go to my bank account. I want it to go to a petty cash account, for example.
Okay, that's set up in your control accounts. So it does depend on what's set up under your control accounts. Let me just check on mine quickly. Apologies. Sorry, I have to cancel my point of sale quickly. I'll have to just close all the drawers. So the account that's currently being affected on your side, Madeleine?
It's my actual bank account that so it reflects as an EFT type of thing, but I want to cash like a petty cash account type of vibe.
Oh, so it's when your receipts. Okay, when it's on EFT. Okay, then in that case, that just means that there's a certain tender type on your customer. So like here, if you have your EFT account under your
Okay.
tender types, if you have your EFT on your customer, this is the account that gets affected. You can change this to your petty cash account.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
No problem. Okay, great. That looks like it's all the questions. Great, then thank you everybody for joining today's training. Again, if you'd like to request anything or if you'd like to ask anything, more than welcome just to send an email to support@palladium.co.za, and then one of the consultants will be able to assist you from there. Thank you everybody for joining today's training, and you must have a safe travel. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.